Hi everyone, and welcome to our third edition of Tiger Report's Athlete Interview Series. My name is Hike, this is JP, and today we're joined by NCAA champion Patrick Glory. Patrick recently became the second ever Princeton athlete to win a wrestling division and was the first in 72 years. So I'm going to start off just by asking, 72 years, that's a long time. Pat, describe how special it was to deliver Princeton its first wrestling champion in 72 years and get your picture on that wall in the wrestling room.
Yeah, it's still a feeling I don't think has set in yet. It's like I'm still walking into the wrestling room and seeing one picture up there. So I'm excited to finally get up there and kind of start the process as an alumni and kind of supporting the next guys up. Yeah, I think it's still super surreal. Like we're on the E level of javelin right now. This has kind of become my second home in a lot of ways, and so seeing the excitement, seeing the commotion, seeing the everybody supporting our program in the way that they have come. The entire Princeton community and even the larger New Jersey community and beyond have just been so amazing to support that this accomplishment in the way that they have. So just really blessed.
Follow-up question. Super unfortunate shortcoming last year. This year, you overcome it. You're a crown champion. This might be a little hard to answer, but in one word, can you give me the immediate feeling you had when that clock hit 0 and you knew you were a national champion officially?
Yeah, I think the initial thought process that was going through my head was just relief.
Yeah.
Because, obviously, that happening my junior year, you kind of automatically put yourself in next year's shoes. You kind of want to just fast forward as quickly as you can. But then you realize you only have 1 year left to accomplish that, right? So I think, like you said, after last year, there was a lot of nerves and a lot of thoughts kind of going across my head this may never happen. And I think what helped me actually accomplish it was coming to terms with the possibility of it may never happen, and that's okay, right? And you just gotta kind of do the best you can and keep your head down and keep a smile on your face and try to just enjoy it and be a leader and just kind of look back and have your legacy be whatever you wanted it to be. And so whether that was me being a national champ or me being a 4-time All-American or whatever the best thing I could have possibly done was, I was trying to go get that. And the fact that we were able to put five really, really good matches together, it was just such an amazing experience and one that I'll have with me for the rest of my life.
Can we just talk about what the future of wrestling holds for you? Obviously, just wrapped up your season and you're a senior now. What is the future going to be for you?
Yeah, so the future in wrestling I think is contingent on my performance at the U.S. Open later in April. So I think April 28th, April 27th and 28th, I'll be competing in Las Vegas, Nevada, in the senior U.S. Open. And so if I win that tournament, I proceed to wrestle the current world team member in a best-of-3 series in an event called Final X. And there's a couple locations. It'll depend, which location I get assigned to if I do make it. And then I would have to, basically win that spot and then kind of go on the Olympic trail. So I think it's contingent on that. If we don't win, then I think we're gonna start, thinking about my future in finance and I'm super excited about the fact that I've accepted an offer at City and I think the City community as well. It's amazing. I've only been there for 1 summer and they're all supporting me and reaching out and stuff. So I'm super excited to get back there and celebrate with them and kind of take the next step in my life.
Yeah, that's great. Having multiple options is amazing, and Vegas, that's a great place to be competing.
So another question. You're walking out on the mat engulfed in an American flag. Why the American flag? Why not the Princeton flag? What made you choose that? What are you trying to symbolize?
Yeah, it was a last-minute decision. So I think in terms of the USA flag versus Princeton flag, I just didn't have a Princeton flag out there. It's a lot easier to get your hands on an American flag. The decision came Friday night, and it was kind of after my semifinals match. Obviously, you can't really think about the finals until then. It's you try to keep your head down and just focus on each individual match, right, and get up and have that same routine, from the start through the finish. So after that semifinal match, now I started to kind of like think about how I wanted to go about, the walkout, the whole experience around, the finals. That, luckily I had that experience the year before. I kind of knew a little bit what to expect. This year I wasn't the first match, so that actually kind of helped me. The All-American ceremony happened, and then I had maybe an hour and a half or so to like kind of get off my feet and like prepare and start getting a full warm up in. So it was on Friday night that I feel like I kind of thought about my roots, thought about my family, thought about kind of everybody that had helped me kind of get to that point. And I couldn't stop thinking about Old Glory. It was one of the things that like we kind of grew up on. That's what they used to call the American flag. And I was like, the UFC does this, right? Like, I mean, this is basically like a UFC walkout. Like, might as well try to make it like, as animated and as, much of an experience for not only myself, but for everybody, right? I kind of wanted to get the crowd on my side.
Man of the people.
One of the big things from the year before that, even though I lost, was a super cool experience was everyone was cheering my name in the finals, even though I was losing, right? I kind of had the crowd on my side, and it did, like, it kind of brought a second life into me a little bit, and it did, like, kind of affect my opponent. And so I was like, hey, I need to find a way to enjoy this and find a way to get the crowd on my side so that, I can just have it be just wrestling, and loosen myself up to just do what I do.
And for our viewers, I just have to ask this question. You are in the 125-pound weight class, but when you wrestle on the mat in the championship, in the semifinals, whatever, are you wrestling at 125 pounds?
Yeah, no, I would say that, I'm making weight super early in the morning, and like we're really just touching that weight. Like, we don't really ever like stay down at that weight, because you're dehydrating yourself. You're kind of limiting the amount of food you intake. You don't want to do that for as you want to kind of be able to fuel yourself for as long as you can. So basically, how it works is we'll work out in the morning before weigh-ins happen. So if weigh-ins are at 10 o'clock, we'll work out at like 7:30, 8 o'clock for an hour. Get the last pound or two off. You want to try to be as low as you can, so you're not like having to go crazy in that morning workout. You can kind of just take it easy, get a sweat going, and then you're down to weight for the last half an hour. Really, so it's only 30 minutes maybe that we're actually on weight, and then after that we're refueling. Right, after weigh-ins happen. Right, we rehydrate. You fuel yourself. You don't want to get too crazy. So, for example, the NCAA tournament's a 3-day tournament. The first day for me was 125, and then they give you an extra pound each day. So I get 126 the second day and 127 the following day. The policies with that have changed over the years, but I think that the way that they do it now is really, really good. And they give you 2 hours after the weigh-in before I'm the first weight class, so I'm going to be up right away. But I have 2 hours, which for dual meets there's only 1 hour after weigh-in. It's a little bit of a quicker turnaround, especially for like a 25-pounder who goes first, right? So I definitely like the tournament setups a lot better. You give yourself a little more time to relax. You get to take a little nap after weigh-ins and stuff. It's always good.
It's great.
Yeah.
And then can you just touch on your relationship with head coach Chris and then the associate head coaches Sean and Joe, how they've helped you throughout the time? I mean, the wrestling coaches at Princeton have an amazing reputation.
They do.
They're very loved by not only the wrestling athletes themselves, but the school. And can you just speak on your relationship with those coaches and what they've done to get you to where you are now?
Yeah. It's hard to really put into words the relationship that I have with them, because they are really like, father figures to me. And when I was getting recruited and, kind of going through, each school, each academic, highly, competitive academic schools that had wrestling, there really was only a handful that I was, really considering. And what separated Princeton from the rest of them was that, it had never been done before, right? There was kind of like this trajectory that the coaches really kind of had been hitting. Like they kind of had these like almost like a parabola where like they were going up the
Just never got to the point though.
Yeah, right. And they were kind of like, hey, we still have a lot more work to do, and like we need guys like you to like get on board, right? And really see this vision through. And like, you know, we need a national champ, and like we think it can be you. And so, you know, there's a lot of pros to being in Princeton. There's you know, great wrestling. There's great academics. You know, for me, it's an hour away from my family, so they can see pretty much all my matches and stuff, and be at all the competitions. And you know, there was a lot of upside, like a lot of upside, and people don't realize in terms of, you know, how special the coaches are seen around campus and how much the community loves them. They were here when Princeton wrestling went 0-20, you know, and you know, for the first 2 years of Coach Ayers' tenure, you know, they were, you know, struggling to find individual wins. They couldn't get a team win. You know, they're struggling to get one guy to win a match. Yeah. Right. And now fast forward 10 years later, and we have multiple All-Americans every year. You know, we won an Ivy League championship a couple of years ago. You know, knocking off Cornell for the first time since, you know, 1986 or something. Wow. Right. And you know, now we have a national champ. Like, that was the next thing. Right. So I think the theme for Princeton wrestling is just continuing to like kind of break the barriers down and like get the next first, right? Next first would be, you know, multiple national champs.
Two-time
yeah,
champs.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Two-time national champs.
Set
right?
the bar pretty high.
4-time national champs, yep. Right? I mean, I don't know if we've had a 4-time EIWA champion, which is our conference, right? You know. Yep. So there's always, you know, new kind of like unforeseen things that you can do here, and I think that's what's exciting the recruits and the guys that are coming here, you know, next year and the following years and et cetera. So you know, I'm excited to kind of see them kind of take the reins and, you know, take over.
That's great. Looks like the coaches had belief in Pat since day one and knew he could become a national champion. Now we'll move on to the second part of our segment, where we'll just ask Pat some personal questions, get to know him on a personal level, and you guys will know where to find him on campus after this. You want to start it off?
What eating club are you in, if you are in one?
Yeah, I'm in Cottage. Feel like a pretty old head in Cottage now because we have the new sophomores coming in. So I mean, I've been in Cottage since 2020, pre-COVID. So wow. You can imagine, you know, I've been with people that were seniors at that time to now, you know, people who I wouldn't even have been in school with, you know, if I had kind of stayed on the normal trajectory. So very, very cool. Love Cottage. Shout out UCC, you know, if you guys are watching. You know, love my eating club, love the community.
It's a great, cool club.
Yeah, great club. What's your favorite night out?
Theme?
Yeah, theme. We can go with theme. That's fine.
Yeah, I would say night out theme. The Great Gatsby was actually one of the major reasons why I wanted to do Cottage. Mm-hmm. The whole F. Scott Fitzgerald. I read his book, and we were like assigned to read the book in high school.
Everyone was.
Right, exactly. Yeah, right.
Who didn't read The Great Gatsby?
Thing. Exactly. So, you know, hearing about that story, my high school professor actually like mentioned Cottage, like in like the, you know, the PowerPoint slide that he did, you know, for our class.
That's awesome.
And then, yeah, I mean, so I think that we do that Great Gatsby themed party every year. You know, it's a members' night. It's super, super fun, super tight knit. They have the dancers come in and do the, you know, a little party, never killed nobody. You know, it's really, really a lot of fun, and they do a great job putting it together.
Yeah. Well,
that's amazing.
Yep. Taj never disappoints.
Another question. You didn't just choose it for the athletic side. You also chose Princeton for the academic side. Where's your favorite place to study?
You know, I'm a big room studier. I lock my door and I have my monitor, and you know, I kind of just go to work and you know, play my own music, you know, stuff like that. But if I want to study in public, I'll usually, you know, post up in Firestone, or you know, actually I live in Yale, so there's a great little lounge in Yale, like great study rooms. Like I love it. It's literally like, you know, a dream come true to be able to live in like an air conditioned, brand new facility, and I love it a lot. So you know, you know, you got to get creative. There's a million places you can use to study. New South was a big one. We used to study in New South.
Yeah.
So there's a million.
Yeah. Where'd you live the first 2 years?
Yeah, so I was an original Wilsonite, so now, you know, firstie, so this is even before the name change.
Wow.
So I know, it's just like, it shows you how old I am.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was in I was in Walker Hall my freshman year, and these are all buildings that are now destroyed, which is crazy. And then class of 1938, and then from there I went to upper class housing. Last year we were in Patton Hall. And then we got selected for the upper class into the new college, and we're now in Mannion Hall. So we have a quingle, private bathroom, nice common room, air conditioning, state-of-the-art facility. So it's phenomenal.
You've come a long way from being in first college and then all the way to
Walker
an
Hall was
air-conditioned
tough. I'm not gonna lie. I love Walker Hall. Jake Stevens, the lacrosse player, was my roommate freshman year. But we had a closet of a room. Like we were, we had our like beds and desks set up, and that was pretty much it. We were sharing a closet. So, and now we're in a lot better setup.
Yeah,
so.
that's great.
I bet that setup helped fuel your national championship.
It definitely did. Definitely got help with the good night's sleep and good studying setup. So
that's great
for sure.
And then junior paper or senior thesis?
Ooh. I actually think thesis, just because, you get to get it bound, you get to get it, write your name on it, put your acknowledgments in there, but it's also like, it's only a marginally, larger than your JP.
Yeah.
Maybe, in econ, maybe, 15, 20 more pages. So, I definitely think like, it's like, if you're going to do the work, you might as well kind of get it bound and have the whole experience around it in that way.
Definitely.
What are you writing about?
Yeah, so actually Princeton tweeted like a kind of a string of athletes and like what their senior athletes, what their major what their theses topics are. So that was a really cool idea. Shout out to Princeton for doing that. That was like a really cool thing to see. Like Quincy's thesis was on there, and like Tosan's thesis, and like just kind of like they were shouting out like seniors in that way. So my thesis is I'm doing the finance certificate on top of my econ degree, AB, and so I'm writing on using machine learning algorithms to forecast prepayment models for mortgage-backed securities, for agency mortgage-backed securities. So very financy, very kind of like codey. I was trying to teach myself Python, so that was kind of like a part of the reason why I wanted to do this. I think it's a good tool to use going into finance as an analyst. So it's going really well so far. I'm about 30 pages in, so got like maybe like 20 more pages to go or so, 20 to 25 more pages. So we're well on our way.
Were you able to get an extension like Tosan and Ryan did?
No, I didn't ask for one, and then kind of I'm in a very good spot, so I'm kind of like I might as well just like get it done by the 13th and kind of have PTL for longer. Right?
Yeah.
So that's kind of where my thought process was. But I was lucky to have like gotten a big chunk. I haven't really done much more since I've been back, so I kind of had my 30 pages done before we even left for Tulsa, which was nice.
He manages his time well.
Yeah.
Trying my best,
And then one last question for the viewers. Besides wrestling, what's your favorite sport to watch?
NFL football. It's hard to say anything else because my team won a Super Bowl a couple years ago. Now LA Rams, but I've been a fan of the Rams since they were back in St. Louis. Me and my uncle, big Rams supporters. But I love pretty much every sport. Like I love golf. Like I love watching golf. I'm trying to get my game under 90 right now. That's kind of the next goal. Been playing like a bunch of rounds since I've been back.
Yeah.
Basketball, baseball. Anthony Volpe is a guy from my high school that just got pulled up to the Yankees, who I can't wait to watch. He's going to be the starting shorts. I'm actually going to the game tomorrow.
Wow, opening day.
Game.
That's
my little
amazing.
brother's birthday. That's his birthday present. So
happy birthday to him.
Happy birthday to Connor. I'm sure he's watching. So it's. I'm not very picky. I love watching all sports and support in any way I can.
Yeah, sports are amazing.
Incredible.
Wrestling's amazing. Red Zone's going to be back in less than 6 months.
Yeah.
So we're all looking forward to that.
Yep. Well, honestly, Pat, it was amazing to talk to you. I mean, look, we don't want to hold him for that long because he's in his uniform. He's ready to get back on the mat. The work doesn't stop for this guy. He will never stop working. He's got, 3-4 weeks now until Vegas. So we're going to wish him the best of luck because, everyone here at Princeton's rooting for you, and we want to see you do amazing things, whether it's at Citibank or at the Olympics.
Yep. Stellar athletes here at Princeton. We can't wait to show you guys the next one. Thank you.
Thank you, guys.